Hey everyone, it's the Cinema Dude, and welcome back to my channel. And we're taking a little detour this week. Originally, I was going to do a new unboxing of the new Arrow Enter the Video Store collection. But today, I got this. Two big packages, one from DiabolikDVD and the other my Vinegar Syndrome package. So we got a lot to go through. Let's hop right into it. First, we're going to go with the DiabolikDVD stuff. And the main reason I got this was to pick up this new film from Synapse, and that is Crocodile. Yes, Crocodile has finally come out on Blu-ray, and this was kind of one of their surprise announcements, kind of like how they did Creature from Black Lake. So this is of course, Crocodile film, late 70s, taking on that Jaws craze, so had to pick this one up. So there is the front. Really cool art on the back. There's that. And I'm just going to briefly go through some stuff, stopping here and there for some movies as well. So this is this Killer Croc classic, originally filmed in 1978 as Crocodile Fangs, was released in slightly different versions from all around the world during its theatrical run. Synapse Films is proud to present the Blu-ray world premiere of Crocodile in its original U.S. release version, restored from the original English 35mm camera negative. On here, there is an audio commentary with writer and film historian Lee Gambin, video interview with original Crocodile Fangs director Wong C. Lee, original theatrical trailer, and deleted and alternate scenes. So, very excited to have this one in my collection. I got, I think it was last Severance sale. Yeah, I got the Killer Crocodile set, so now I got regular Crocodile. And speaking of crocodiles, I also picked up Alligator 2, the mutation. For a long time, I always thought this was the next mutation. I also think that's like the Ninja Turtles show, that they had in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So I think that's where I'm getting it from. But yeah, a pseudo kind of remake to Alligator. But I have Alligator, and this one came out last year as well. I wanted to pick this up. So there's Alligator 2. And then I was very surprised that this was going to have the slipcover on it, but cool that it did. And this is Kino and Scorpion's release of Tinatoria, the tiger shark. There it is. And this is from 1978, again, during the Jaws kind of aftermath. So here is this film. So kind of excited to check this out. This one is from Rene Cardone Jr., who did a whole bunch of cult filmmaking stuff, and there's a Vinegar Syndrome set out with some of his things. He did Guyana, Cult of the Damned, Treasure of the Amazon. So, Susan George is in this film, so really cool to check this one out. So that was from Diabolik, and let's hop into the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. So, I think this is the highest I've ever gotten from Vinegar Syndrome. Usually I think the highest was 9 before, but this time splurged a little more. So, keeping with the nature runs amok type movies we have here, I also picked up from Vinegar Syndrome The Bees, starring John Saxon, and this is the slipcover version, and then here's the original artwork. And this one is one of their earlier releases, Vinegar Syndrome. 2016 this one was, but the slip, I think, is from last year, so I decided to pick this one up. And also starring in the bees is John Carradine, and it's evil corporations have smuggled a deadly strain of South American killer bees into the United States, and now the entire world may be on the brink of imminent destruction. As cities crumble, body counts rise, and mass hysteria ensues. Scientist John Norman, played by John Saxon, thinks he might have discovered the secret strategy to stop the bees. So awesome to have this film. I have Terror Out of the Sky, which I believe is a sequel to this one, or it might be a sequel to The Savage Bees. All these bee movies in the 70s and stuff have like some sort of connection. So, and then the next one is, you have The Master of Suspense, and he makes one of the best nature runs amok movies of all time, in The Birds. And hey, you know what? It's the 90s, and it's TV, so let's just poop on the legacy of that. And we get The Birds 2, Land's End. This, for the longest time, was a VHS only release, and now it's on a Blu-ray. So there's front, the back of that as well. And again, made for TV film, and directed by Rick Rosenthal, who did Halloween 2, but he goes by Alan Smithy. For those that don't know, that is kind of the generic name that people use when they don't want their name on projects. So it does star Tippi Hedren, not playing the same character she did in The Birds, which is kind of weird. A whole bunch of cool things. You have a commentary track with Amanda Reyes. Don't remake Hitchcock films, a 54-minute making of documentary. You have an interview with the composer, a location featurette, skills gallery, a reversible artwork, and such. So that is The Birds 2, Land's End. And then we go from nature runs amok to another kind of animal type subgenre that I have, / kind of folk horror type stuff, and that is the Bigfoot and Friends genre. And we start with Vinegar Syndrome's new release of Boggy Creek 2, and the legend continues. So this one was a DVD version they had prior to this. It was very expensive. So really cool that this is out. This is part of their VSA lines. There's the front. There's the back. And so this is from 1983. And a spiritual sequel to the early 70s blockbuster Charles B. Pierce's Boggy Creek 2, and the legend continues. Resituates the Bigfoot myth into a sun-baked, undeniably 80s new agey setting, and features director Pierce's co-starring with his son, Chuck Pierce Jr., all tied together with lush nature photography and catchy folk soundtrack. So it's the first time newly restored from a rare 35mm elements. And then there is a commentary track with cryptozoologist author David Coleman as well. So very cool to have this one on disc finally. It's very weird with the Boggy Creek ones. They're all kind of similar. Oh, there's my cat. There you go. They all are somewhat similar. Like this one at least has it, but then there's like Return to Boggy Creek, which is only on VHS. There was just Boggy Creek. Yeah, so there's like 3 or 4 of them besides this one too. There are sequels, pseudo-sequels, things like that. So that is Boggy Creek 2, and the legend continues. Then we have an upgrade for me. I have an old alpha video release of this and decided to upgrade. and that is Shriek of the Mutilated. So another kind of Bigfoot, Yeti type movie. And this is from 1974. And this one is newly scanned and restored in 4K from its original 35mm OCN. Roberta Findlay, the kind of porn kind of director, she actually did cinematography on this film. So, and there's a brand new commentary track with her. Yeti again, there is another interview with her. So Bad, So Great. There is a locations of Shriek and Mutilated. There's a audio essay with David Coleman, who is the cryptozoologist. And then reversible sleeve art, and then subtitles as well. So, and again, Michael Finley is the director of this as well. So, it is reputation one of the quintessential pieces of early 70s drive-in filmmaking, and it produced and co-written by Ed Ollum, who did Invasion of the Blood Farmers, and then, like you said, photographed by Roberta Findlay. So yeah, so very, very cool to upgrade this one from like the kind of alpha video release of that. So that is Shriek of the Mutilated. And then finally for the Bigfoot and Friends, we go kind of a cool little film that didn't know about, and then saw like the preview, saw like the cool effects that they were doing into it, and I was like, oh, absolutely, that's what I want to do, and that is Frostbiter, the Wrath of the Wendigo. And this is from 1995, but this was also, they were doing this in like the late 80s and stuff with this movie. So, and it says right here, it says, from the snowy winds of Michigan, Tom Chaney's Frostbiter, aka Wendigo, is a highly ambitious indie horror gem which inexplicably remained nearly unreleased save for some local screenings for the better part of a decade following its late 80s production. Featuring clever uses of miniatures, highly stylized camera work and editing, frequent gore, and loads of wintry atmosphere. And then this is a 2K from its 16mm camera negative. And it has a bunch of special features on here. But it says, long ago, the mighty Wendigo was defeated and buried in a secret place, known only to a select individual tasked with protecting this unholy ground, lest it be revived from the grave. When two arrogant hunters, Gary and Dave, stumble upon Wendigo's final resting place and kill its elderly elderly protector, they unknowingly revive the ancient demon, which gorily dispatches Dave. Taking refuge with another group of hunters in a nearby cabin, the posse are set upon with all sorts of ghoulish creatures, not at least which is the Wendigo itself. Meanwhile, a young woman named Sandy begins to experience visions telling her that she must now kill the Wendigo. So again, like I said, 16mm camera negative, restored in 2K. There is a commentary track, new one. There is an interview with the director, interview with the producer, interview with an actor, interview with stop motion animator Dave Helpmeter, interview with an actor, interview with sound editor, behind the scenes skill gallery. There's archive extras, which are like promotional video, trailers, behind the scenes footage, premiere, so a whole bunch of cool stuff. And this was released at one time by Troma on DVD and stuff. So that is Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo. And then we hop into more creature features, and we go to creature features from the 70s. And this I've always saw this movie on a really kind of bad print on those like Mill Creek 50 movie packs. And this is a 70s TV movie, and that is Moon of the Wolf. And then that's the back. Oh, I forgot to say that was the back of Wendigo, and I don't remember if I showed. And that's the back of Shriek of the Mutilated. So yeah, so this is from 1972, and a brooding made-for-TV werewolf chiller. So yeah, and this one is shot entirely on location in rural Louisiana. It's the standout piece of movie of the week horror on Blu-ray for the first time. And let's see, there's they have a commentary track with Amanda Reyes and Daniel R. Budnick, which that's kind of cool because I think they do the TV Mayhem podcast. Well, Amanda Reyes has that podcast, and I think he's part of it as well, so it's kind of cool. And there's a double-sided poster in here. It's the 2K from its 35mm inner positive. There's an interview and such, so really cool to be able to see this film in a kind of better light than a 50 movie pack one. So then we're going to go through some more creature features, I guess. We'll go with those. And we'll start with Through the Fire. And this is, I think this is, what is this also known as? Released on VHS under the wildly misleading title of The Gates of Hell, Part 2. Blends lo-fi special effects with a grim southern regional flavor. And it was low-budget, high-ambition, Texas-shot satanic thriller. This is from 1988. And this is a 2K from its 35mm inner negative. There's a commentary track. There's an alternate Gates of Hell Part 2 Dead Awakening sourced from video, which is kind of cool. And there's a group commentary on that. So that's actually really cool that they were able to put that in there. And Lighting the Spark, there's an interview, another interview, and then there's behind-the-scenes special effects footage. So kind of a cool little packed one. I feel like people kind of like, oh, okay. But for them to be able to kind of pull all that into here and stuff, very, very cool. So, Through the Fire. Then we have one that I think this was on Scream Factory at one time, and then it went out of print. But another one, again, these like last two, this one and the next one about the show are kind of got those like kind of cool special effects in the 80s, like that really like people were putting their heart and soul into stuff. And this is another one too, and this is the Lamp, which, yes, aka The Outing. Yep. So primed with an assortment of gruesome deaths and very dark sense of humor, Tom Daly's The Lamp, aka The Outing, is a wild Texas lens mid-80s supernatural horror gem. Excuse me. Let's see. So, it has newly restored 2K from its 35mm inner positive. There's an extensive making of documentary on here. There's a commentary track, trailer, reversible artwork, stuff. So, it says after a group of thieves decide to ransack the home of a strange old gypsy woman, murdering her in the process, they unwillingly free a vengeful genie named Jinn, who has been held captive for centuries in an ancient oil lamp. Soon after, the lamp is acquired by a local museum, but as Alex Wallace, daughter of the museum's curator, decides to sneak a group of her friends into the museum after hours for a night of partying, she doesn't realize that Jinn is looking for a new keeper and that Alex is the perfect vessel to carry out the genie's diabolical actions. So that is The Lamp. There's the front, the back. Next, again, I think this one also was a Scream Factory one, and that one also was out of print. But a 70s tribute to 50s science fiction with a dose of really cool special effects, and this is The Incredible Melting Man. So this is from 1977, and it says, while the first ever voyage to the rings of Saturn An unexpected phenomenon takes hold of astronaut Steve West and his crew, burning all but Steve to a crisp. Somehow able to return Earth, Steve awakens in a hospital bed only to discover that his body is disintegrating. Worse, he begins to develop an instinctual rage to kill, learning that this is the only way to maintain his strength. After escaping the hospital, Steve begins to ravage the nearby countryside, brutally murdering all those who cross his path, and leaving behind a series of mangled bodies covered in his dripping flesh. And a legendary drive-in favorite and showcase for some of the special effects geniuses Rick Baker's earliest work, William Sachs' The Incredible Melting Man offers a oozing 70s tribute to 50s sci-fi cinema. And then there's a 4K disc in here from its 35 millimeter camera negative. And then there is also an archival commentary track, brand new interview with William Sachs, a brand new interview with script supervisor Sandy King, and then some archival interviews as well, and the theatrical trailer. So, and then reversible artwork. So that is The Incredible Melting Man. Yeah, one of the exciting ones to pick up there. And then we go to one of the new box sets that they had. And this one was really cool. And this is Villages of the Damned. 3 horror films from Spain. Like I've been saying all year, this year is the year of horror movies getting released outside from America. So we have the indicator set that I showed off last week. We've had the Bollywood set. Here's another set right here this year. So really, really cool set. That's front. The back. You get a nice book in here. It is a I don't know, they never put the things. I don't know, maybe like a 20, 30 page book. So kind of cool there. Nice photos from the movies in there. And then here is the front of the, so you got the box, and you have the slipcover itself. And then again, here's this. So in here you have The Forest of the Wolf from 1970. You have The Sky is Falling from 1975. You have Beatrice from 1976. It's a 2-disc region-free Blu-ray set, newly scanned and restored in 4K from their original negatives. There is an interview with the director of The Forest of the Wolf. There is an introduction to Forest of the Wolf. There's an interview with the actress from The Sky is Falling. An interview with an actor from Beatrice, and then reversible artwork and stuff. So it says beginning in the late 60s and lasting through the end of Franco's iron-fisted rule, genre filmmakers working in Spain began using the horror genre to astutely comment on the issues of class, religion, governance, and the horrors of day-to-day life. Collected here are a trio of unique and unsettling tales of distinctly Spanish horror, all of which are making their English-friendly Blu-ray debuts, sourced from new 4K restorations, exclusively prepared by Vinegar Syndrome. So, very, very cool. And then the first one, The Force of the Wolf, was the first in a series of dark folk horrors, directed by multi-Goya award-winning auteur Pedro Olia. So a very kind of cool set. They look very interesting, and like I said, having all of these kind of films, not just, you usually get the Giallos and things like that, and, sometimes you get the kaiju movies and stuff, but to be able to get more of the reach of different movies from different eras and stuff outside of America is really, really cool. So that is Villages of the Damned. one of the ones I was excited to check out. Then speaking of outside of America, we'll go to a British horror film. I gotta be careful looking at this one because the box for this slipcover for this one is not that appropriate for YouTube. And this is the slasher Don't Open Till Christmas. Again, another one that's been on like those 50 movie packs that just been hard to see. I believe it was Mondo Macabro had a nicer DVD, but now on Blu-ray. Kind of cool with this one is it opens up and like it has like the people from Vinegar Syndrome signing, and then it says Merry Christmas from Vinegar Syndrome being cut up and stuff. So so here is the outside, again from 1984, and the product of extremely troubled production. Don't Open Till Christmas was the second stalk and slash collaboration between legendary exploitation producer Dick Randall and former matinee idol Edmund Prudhomme after 1982's deliciously bonkers Pieces. So this is kind of a crazy kind of film. Has Carolyn Monroe in it as herself. And so in here, it's newly restored in 2K from its 35mm inner negative. Don't Direct Till Christmas, a interview with the directors, Slashing Miss Monroe, a brand new interview with Carolyn Monroe, a whole bunch of other interviews, and then again, commentary track with Amanda Reyes. So very cool on this to finally have this in a kind of a better release and stuff. So another 80s slasher off the list there. And then finally, I'm going to finish up with two. We are going to go next to a classic of horror, and I want to pick up the 4K release of this because why not? And that is Margot Kidder and James Brolin in the Amityville Horror. Wanted to upgrade from my old Scream Factory set I had. This set is just packed with stuff in it. You could just see from the back of there all the little stuff down here. But, what is there to say about Amityville Horror? The first one that started it all, and now we have about 26 different Amityville movies and like 5 or 6 releasing every year. So, so it's the UHD debut of the Amityville Horror. It's one of the most acclaimed and terrifying horror films of the 70s. It's based on the story of George Lutz, and they go to the house and stuff starts happening in the house, and they might be possessed by the house. So really cool. So there is newly restored from its 35mm original camera negative with following sound options: original and unaltered theatrical sound mix, alternate stereo mix, and a commentary track by Dr. Hans Hausler, a PhD in parapsychology, the author of Murder in Amityville. And then there's also My Amityville Diaries, a brand new making of documentary featuring cast and crew. For God's Sake, Get Out, an archival making of documentary. Brolin Thunder, a interview with James Brolin 2017. Child's Play interview from 2017. So a whole host of stuff here. And then finally, to end it, we go, what if you took Devo, Grease, a little bit of Rocky Horror, and Xanadu, and mix it all together, and a little bit of science fiction? What do you get? You get Voyage of the Rock Aliens. I don't know what to say about this one. This one is kind of crazy. It's from 1984 with Pia Zadora and Craig Schaefer and Michael Berryman's in this. Yeah, it's a crazy kind of film. It says nearly unclassable smorgasbord made of 1 part rock musical, 1 part science fiction insanity, 1 part 50s kitsch through an 80s glam lens. Never given an authorized disc release in the U.S. Vinegar Syndrome presents this liminal slice of premium cable nostalgia, in its ultimate home video edition. It is a new 2K scanned and restored from its 35mm inner positive. There's an extensive making of documentary featuring Michael Berryman, a whole bunch of other people, and it says embracing on the voyage, the making of the alien dance rock opera. Where Are They Now? Reuniting the band, featuring an extended featurette with the band Rima, reversible artwork. So yes, one crazy kind of film, and right up that kind of what in the world. So that is Voyage of the Rock Aliens. So as you can tell, a whole bunch came in. So really cool that this stuff came in, but I wanted to show you this first since I got it today. So comment below what you get in your stuff. So let me know. Is there anything? Are you checking out the Severance sale that just started last night? Going on today. Kino sale is coming up. Criterion sale started today. I think Arrow is kind of hopping in on that at Barnes & Nobles as well. So a lot of sales going on right now. So definitely check those out. And thank you for watching. Again, to comment below. Does any of these sound interesting to you? Or anything you're like, oh, I wish I grabbed that and stuff. So again, comment below. But thanks everybody for watching. I hope you have a great weekend. If you're in the United States, have a nice July 4th weekend. Thanks for watching. And remember, be kind and rewind. Thanks, everybody. See you later.